Hello, welcome back. Are you a new EV owner? Are you looking to buy your next EV or just want to get up to speed with EV terminology? Stay tuned to learn about top 5 terms in EV world that you need to know. First of all, let's go into range. You need to look if range fits your lifestyle. Normally, people drive about 20 miles per day. That accounts to about 140 miles in a week if you do a 7-day journeys. All EVs will do this sort of range regardless, most of them in only one charge. What about if you drive 5 times more than that? Is this doable in EV? Absolutely no issues. Although if you will drive about more than 1000 miles in a week, you might be better off with a hybrid. So what is range? Range is the number that the manufacturer advises as the maximum number of miles that can be achieved in one charge. Bear in mind that number is not applicable in real life. That is called the WLTP range, which comes for Worldwide Harmonized Test Procedure, which is a lap test, which is done in perfect conditions, at perfect temperatures, at low speed. So to be on the safe side, you need to take away about 10-20% of that range, and then gives you your summer driving range. If you take away 20% more from that summer range, that gives you your winter range, because it's quite different summer to winter. Another one is cost. So we are always told EVs cost a lot more money, which is absolutely true. As the purchase price, an EV costs a lot more money, mainly because the battery, which accounts about 60-70% of the price of the vehicle. But when they say cost and EV cost, you need to look at the whole picture. That includes your traveling cost and your maintenance cost. I'll put here two options of what an EV maintenance cost, which is a Hyundai Ioniq, and here we have a Hyundai i30, which is an ICE vehicle. So if you look at this, only in maintenance cost, so not including additional repairs, we already have a £700 difference in 3 years. So already an EV is a lot cheaper to keep on the roads. And how much does it cost to travel? Let's go look at the charging cost. So normally on a night tariff, which is about 8p per kilowatt, you can charge your vehicle at home, and this will cost you about £2 for every 100 miles traveled. With regards that a petrol or a diesel vehicle will cost you about £20 for every 100 miles traveled. Right, let's make an assumption that you will travel 10,000 miles in a year. That over 3 years, 30,000 miles traveled, when you take into account only maintenance and fuel cost, respectively electricity cost, you will be better off with £6,100 by driving an EV. Looking at this picture, there is 2 kilowatt numbers being presented. So what do they mean? Alright, so let's look at this Vauxhall Corsa. We have two numbers in there. One that says 50 kilowatt and one that says 100 kilowatt. So that 50 kilowatt is the capacity of your battery. So that means wherever you go at a rapid charging will look like this. The maximum speed your vehicle gets in an optimal condition is 100 kilowatts. So if you look at a charger, the speed is normally displayed, just like here or here. And looking at your vehicle charging speed and the charger, whichever the number is lowest, that is your charging speed. Example, if you go at the 50 kilowatt charger and your car can charge at 100 kilowatt chargers, your charging speed will be only 50 kilowatts, because this is the maximum a charger can output. In the other side, if you go out with your vehicle that charges at 100 kilowatts and you go to a 350 kilowatt charger, you can only charge maximum 100. The other kilowatt number that you will see advertised is the power of your motor. So let's take a vehicle that has 136 brake horsepower. That means it has a 100 kilowatts maximum output from the motor. So what that means in relation to your battery, which is 50 kilowatts, and a motor of 100 kilowatts, that means if you drive at full speed of the motor, maximum that it can do, you have a discharge of 100 kilowatts per hour. By having a 50 kilowatt battery, you can drive for half an hour your vehicle at full speed before you run out of charge. A very debated term is charging. You hear all this fuss about charging, charging speeds, charging location, charging station, charge at home, charge at work. It sounds very complicated, and it's not. Here is why. There are normally two types of chargings. Home charging, which is slow charging, and rapid charging. Charging at home is done in two ways. Either you go in a 3-pin plug or one of the CCS ports, which stands for Combined Charging Standard. Looks like this. Out of which you can use the top bit. If you go to a rapid charger, use the bit at the bottom as well. So what does it mean if you slow charge? If you slow charge on a 3-pin plug at home, you get about 7 to 8 miles of range per every hour you charge. So let's say if you charge for 5 hours, you get about 40 miles of range. If you have a wall box installed, which looks a bit like this, and you charge overnight for 5 hours, that gives you a rate about 30 miles per hour. So in 5 hours, you get about 150 miles of range. So charging at home with either one of these options on an overnight cheap rate, which is about 8p per kilowatt hour, you would get a cost of £2 for every 100 miles traveled. Sometimes you need to do longer trips, which are more than your vehicle's range. That is when you use rapid chargers. Those are those big boxes you see installed at services all over the place. You'll see these big boxes with cables already attached to them. As a general rule, when you go to these rapid chargers, a normal vehicle will charge from about 20 to 80% in 30 to 40 minutes. So you'll get about 60% of your total range in about half an hour, and then you are on your way. Why are always these numbers advertised, 20 to 80, 10 to 80? Well, it's because past 80% the car charges at very low speed. This is due to protect its own battery. So as a general rule, you will save more time by driving to the next charging destination than sitting and charging past 80%. There are a lot of apps around, things like ZapMap or PlugShare or a better route planner. They will show you where your rapid chargers are, and if you input your vehicle, it will even show you the rapid chargers that are compatible with your vehicle, along with pricing and availability. Quite easy. At home chargers, your vehicle or your charge box can also preset the charging times, so even you can do it from the app, from the vehicle, or from the app of the wall box. You can preset when the car to be charged and by what time you want the charge to be done. So you do that once, then everything you need to charge, just plug it in and go inside. What about the battery? Do you need to replace the battery? Well, no. All the batteries in all the EVs are sort of designed to last the lifetime of the vehicle. Yes, there is degradation in every single battery, just like it is in your phone. So all EV batteries, they have a number of cycles. Normally manufacturer will say it's about 600-800 cycles, but in all reality it's about 1000 to 1500 cycles. And a cycle means one full discharge from 100% to 0 on your battery. Normally you'll get nowadays warranty on a battery at least 5 to 8 years, I would say. So you definitely have no issues. Say you have a vehicle, for example, we'll take a Vauxhall Corsa, which will have a range about 140 miles. So that will be one cycle per week. So one cycle per week will be amount like 50 cycles per year. If we assume the battery has 500 cycles only, that battery will have at least 10 years of lifetime in it. Right. Now you are all clued up in all this EV terminology. And if you look at second-hand EVs, then EV depreciation is your best friend.